Hello, Rigel. How's it going? Obviously, the environment down here is all Swolies. The chat's Swolies, the VC is Swolies, and the sub-alerts are Swolies. And to an extent, the streamer is Swolies. And you breathe that in, and you constantly taste the Swolies. It is indeed mic time. Arkard, are you there? I have a request to make of you, Arkard. A very important request. If you stick around for probably a few more minutes, you'll see what the Swolies means. It's a bit of a joke between Arkard and myself. I expect him to do it like any moment now. One second, hang on, I'm hearing some noise. Okay, it's just nothing. So let's see. Texture pack was custom made. Yes, looks similar to a website called Vanilla Tweaks, which made the packs too. Yeah, so that's what Dragonbound is the one who made me the texture pack, but he started with some Vanilla Tweaks stuff, and then he just added in the custom things like the water bucket name, the blue bed name, the totem being, you know, my face, and then some edits to the cloud texture file. Along with like the splash text and changing some of the title, the buttons on like the menu screens. Other names like this, just a few other things. I definitely like the vanilla tweak stuff. Yeah, I'm not a good texture guy, so I usually just ask Dragonbound or somebody else to do it for me. Hang on, my fans are running a little too hot. Skip. Alright. You check the fan speeder. The fans are running really fast. I don't really like that. Okay. Skip.
like jazz? You like jazz? You like jazz?
Oh no. I'm not a fan of this. Please, just let me live. Let me live my life. Why? What have I done to deserve this? I'll just stop streaming. You can't affect me then. You can't do anything to me. I found the one way to stop you.
Yeah, what do you want? I mean, hello.
Oh, hello, Mystic. How are you?
Doing swell.
Bonsoir.
Thank you.
No,
That really means good evening to me.
does it?
Yeah. You know the Canadian elections tonight?
Am I supposed to, like, know about that?
No.
Or really?
Well, I mean, now you are.
Oh, well, thank you for teaching me about the Canadian election.
Yes.
You like jazz? 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 Jazz? You like 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 jazz?
Wonderful weather we're having.
Hi, how are you? Wonderful weather we're having. Alright, see you around.
Well, that was brief.
You've seen that SpongeBob episode, right?
Who?
You've seen that SpongeBob episode, right?
I've seen parts of it.
You like jazz? 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 You like jazz?
Meow.
Moo. Oh, that's hilarious. No, you. No, don't do that. I'm back asking. What do you mean by that? You mean like family friendly or whatnot? Ugh.
Stop right there!
Ah!
This is the slow lease.
That actually scared me, dude.
Have you been getting your daily recommended amount of gains?
Oh man, my knees hurt. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I was beginning to wonder when you would show up.
I wanted to eat dinner with my family.
Dinner. Barely knew her.
I'm gonna jump off this bridge that I just built.
No, Arkid, please, you have so much to live for. Don't. You know what? While I'm out of my seat, I'm gonna use the bathroom real quick.
Okay.
Hello. I'm back.
Hey,
Okay.
did you see my tweet about the Canadian election?
Yeah, I literally loaded up Twitter and I was like, I saw that. I didn't get to read the part of it. Enough about the Canadian election. It's time to talk about the Canadian ejection. We're cutting you off of North America, sending the entire country into space. That's a good tweet.
Rocket ship emoji. I don't know. It came to me. And I was like, oh, cool. You know, I kind of wanted to tweet about the Canadian election, but you know, for reasons that we've discussed previously,
That weren't political.
I'm not going to endorse anybody. It's not my place, right? So I thought I would tweet that because it's a funny meme tweet.
Hang on, I'm quote tweeting it.
It's
I need to find the correct emojis for this though.
probably like a rocket ship and like the moon or something.
I was gonna put
Maybe
a
some stars.
no. I was doing a rocket ship and then like the up graph like for like charts.
Yeah, okay.
What's up, Graph?
You don't like jazz?
Not much. How about you? Which
Mystic, I hope I didn't startle you with the Swole
No, of course
thing.
not, because unlike Fig, I heard the sound of you joining.
oh yeah, that's I guess one advantage Arcade has over me.
I don't like having the join sound on, so I'm frequently surprised by people.
Oh, I mean, mine's just muted by Streamlabs. I'm trying to find the dang graph, but I can't find it. There it is. All right. Go to it. But wait a minute, this is gonna be like just
Canada is a moon.
that's gonna make like all of the northern United States just lakefront property or beachfront property rather.
Nice.
Alaska will now be an island.
You did miss the Swoleys.
No, oh, you missed the Swolese thing. Yeah, you missed me getting absolutely terrified by Arcade's booming
Fig's
voice.
just sitting there like calmly, and suddenly I'm screaming in his ear.
That happens. It happens like every time now. I'm just used to it. It's like a
It's
ritual.
a stream tradition at this point.
Yeah. Do you like the?
I think it's more strange at this point when I don't scream it.
I know it's like tradition. Did you see the fucking thing that I fucking retweeted from Phoenix?
Yeah, I did. The Minecraft thing where just all the text was ah.
It's so funny, dude.
Look, if he was dying, he wouldn't bother to carve ah. He would just say it. Love that movie.
Sorry, that tweet has been deleted. Okay, what the hell, Twitter? Ooh,
Damn.
Arthur Harris.
Oh yeah, Bacon tweeted Arthur Harris
I'm
earlier.
just gonna retweet Arthur Harris. You no, that's a no you moment. What movie we talking about?
Oh, you know the movie with the castle tile. Such a good movie. Yeah. I love the part with the black beast of Suddenly, the animator had a fatal heart attack. And he falls over backwards.
This tweet, I don't know why it's amusing, is for Mumbo. An upcoming video will be sponsored by ExpressVPN. In unrelated news, I just bought a new bike. I don't know why. I just like stitching two unrelated things together in the same tweet.
I love that shot.
How did Bacon put a frog into his name
I don't know.
as text? How did he do that? Oh yeah, did you hear about the Illager runes?
Did I hear about what?
The Illager runes?
No.
Whoa, 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 you want me to Illager?
Estimated time? I don't know. Sometime next year. All we can say for certain is that it will happen. There are some who call me Tim. I'm gonna actually try and do something tonight on the server, Arcade, and by that I mean I'm gonna try and gather wood. which I've meant to done the past like 3 nights, but I haven't.
Nice.
I honestly have no idea how many logs I'm gonna need, so I think I'm just gonna get like a single chest of logs. Just, fuck it, why not?
Then you won't have to collect wood for a while.
Exactly, and that should be enough. And I think I might get like 9 stacks of stone. That might be enough for what I need. Cobblestones. And then gonna need like a few bookshelves, a pretty decent amount of glass. That should be it. Like a stack of torches. Yeah, you're right. You gotta do some terraforming for the town hall. You gotta terraform the surrounding landscape.
I'm gonna jump off this bridge I just built.
Yeah, like, you gotta make the... You know what I'm talking about, making the terrain better by terraforming, right, Arkard? You know what I'm talking about.
I'm
Where you change...
irrationally
Where
I'm
you-
irrationally distraught.
Where you change the landscape by terraforming it. Thank you so much, Tile, because it gave me the opportunity to really piss off Arkard.
I don't understand why words aren't just allowed to mean things.
Words should mean things. What's wrong? Do you have a problem with the word terraforming?
Not when it's used properly.
You're very pedantic about stuff like that.
It's very important, you see. The whole purpose of language is to make communication easier, and when you use words wrong, you fail in that endeavor.
I love terraforming. I love democracy. I love the Republic.
What's this grass block that's just on fire? And it's not stopping. Should I just leave it lit? All hail the burning grass.
All hail Plankton.
All hail the virtual boy. I think I might try to do the bridge towers tonight, overnight.
Tower.
What I'm gonna do is I'm going to log Bomber Harrison and go to like pillar up on a like a thing of wool in the water. That doesn't sound like a contentious topic at all. ASCII.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like it could go only
Anyway.
go one way.
I'm gonna pillar up and record on my on my
Oh,
alt,
you're
and
gonna-
I'm gonna play on my laptop.
You're gonna record on Bomber Harris, and then I see what you're doing.
Yeah, I'm gonna play on another computer and like build. I shall build. So that way I can get like a sweet time lapse of the towers going up.
Oh, I should totally do that.
Time lapse? Yeah.
I don't know what a good thing to time lapse would be.
Time lapse building your house if you wanted.
I could.
You just gotta make sure you get like a perspective that will get the whole thing in frame. You don't
Yeah.
want to like pillar up with wool like the height that it is.
Well, I
Just
gotta.
like draw
I
out the
almost have to
frame.
build it all in one go, and I don't know the exact
Yeah.
resource amount, so. But I also wasn't planning on building in one go. I was just gonna do it like little by little, midnight.
Yeah. Well, you asked a question and I gave a suggestion.
Well, once I'm like doing cave games for like most of the time, then I'll consider what to time lapse. I'd time lapse building like the Colosseum, but that's a little too big to do in one go.
Well, you could split it up into sections. You could start on it from one perspective, and then stop, and then switch perspectives, and then do like more.
Yeah. I wonder if the Colosseum's something I should build in beta, or if I should like just wait until full release when it's.
It would be super impressive.
It would, but I wouldn't have as
In
many
beta.
building options open.
That's true.
And also apart from resource gathering.
You will probably have to build it out of stone products, and you will probably have enough stone products if you do any serious amount of mining.
Yeah. I don't know. I would prefer doing it in full release.
Then wait. You just gotta make it bigger than Ethos Arena.
1 block wider. How big was that arena?
I don't know. It was fairly large.
Actually, I could probably find out. There's a server that has the map loaded. What did the clouds say?
You used to not be able to do that, ASCII. You used to have the nightmare mechanic to deal with. What's your opinion on the nightmare mechanic, Fig?
I hate it. As due to the fact that it almost killed me multiple times.
I guess you gotta get good, scrub.
Sometimes it's inconsistent though.
Yeah, that's true.
Thank you for helping with the house designing last night. I'm very happy with the final product of that.
Yeah, no problem.
Now I just gotta build it in world.
Although I'm sad now that I can't disparagingly call your house the cardboard box.
Don't worry, I'm sure you'll. Hang on, let me stop having a stroke here. I'm sure you will still find some way to criticize it and think of a condescending nickname.
Find another disparaging nickname.
Yes.
That's honestly like one of my favorite British traditions, is they just nickname their buildings like really stupid things.
Big
Like the
Ben.
walkie-talkie.
Big Ben.
Big Ben's more of a loving nickname, it's not disparaging.
You're disparaging.
Ah, Gabby,
Lord
thanks for posting a picture of Wade, Gabby.
Oh, hello, Gavi. How are you doing, fellow penguin?
The penguin's name is Wade.
Oh, cool. That's my middle name.
Wadsworth's name.
Oh. Cool. You're doing okay? I'm doing mildly okay. I'm doing okay. I don't know how Arkert is. I think he's having a good
Right.
time building.
I build big bridge.
Breege.
Bridge. I love this version because I can just go AFK offside for or outside for hours and nothing happens.
Offside.
Yeah,
Wait, why?
because there are no phantoms.
I hate phantoms. That's gonna make time-lapsing annoying.
You can just build like a small thing over your head.
Well, that stop them fully?
There has to be air blocks above your head for them to. I'm talking about like the camera account.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
I like how every streamer recording it always starts with the. Oh, you're talking about the same song? Yeah, I've. That's a tradition I started back during the Farlands journey. Oh wait, no, that's when I start actually walking.
The
Yeah,
Fig.
Ferv is the one that I play when I start walking, but the one I play on the starting soon screen is called Savior, which I only decided to use that as an intro. Thank you, Nightbot. As an intro, like after I'd arrived at the Farlands, just because that song kind of stuck out to me. Yes, Arkard?
What's your favorite kind of frog?
The kinds that go hippity hoppity. Get off my property.
Yeah. The shotguns. Frog champ. Big, you should add this emote to your channel so we can use it.
What is it? Oh, cool. I'd have to log in, so I don't feel like doing that right now.
Okay, not right now necessarily.
Oh,
There is
no.
another.
Oh, man. Well, I gotta do this in order. Alright, onto the floor I go.
Always two there are.
No more, no less. 5,
Squats
6,
and the push-ups.
7. Your mom. 9, 10.
You waited for the cooldown? Thank you, ASCII. Very cool.
Hope you enjoy the fact that you can hear the volume controller on my headset hitting the desk.
Nice.
Hang on, I'm gonna go and get a second drink now. I need more water.
Alright, I think I'm gonna go use the
Hydration
bathroom
break.
real quick.
Just doing my job, ASCII. Remember to hydrate. Don't want any like leg cramps or anything terrible. Okay. Alright, let's make like a tree and continue walking. I have to log in, Gabby, and I don't want to do that right now. I will do it later. Set it up for tomorrow. Or for Wednesday. Wait. That's a Chrome extension. What am I doing? Let me copy this and paste. I think I might be able to do this.
How about Yes Frog Champ?
Alright, which one am I gonna remove here?
Do you have 50 emotes?
15?
Oh, is it 15?
Yeah.
I don't know what emotes you have.
Which one do I want to get rid of? I don't want to get rid of the cactus one. Alright, I'm removing this one.
I don't know which one this one is.
And I'm adding Le Frog Champ. Alright, Frog Champ has been
Yep.
added.
Frog Champ.
Alright, you're welcome and enjoy it. I don't know if you can use it yet, but you can try.
I'm gonna try refreshing the page. That should...
You like jazz?
Ah, not yet. Must take it a bit. It's okay.
Okay.
Soon. TM.
Ah,
You
yes.
like jazz? You like jazz?
Yep, I can tolerate you because you're true neutral.
What, me?
Yeah.
Well,
And
you've
the-
already,
and
you've
the-
already
the-
told me that.
Yep, the frog penguin thing. You just like, I just think they're both neat.
I don't know at the top of my head.
I don't think you stream at 6,000 bitrate. That's really high.
No? The bitrate 6,000.
Why is your bitrate 6,000? Jesus Christ, Fig.
That was the default, and I just left it.
Is that the default? Damn, I remember back in the day you weren't supposed to go above like 3,500. I think I stream at 3,000.
These are modern times, my lad.
I told Bacon that you added Frog Champ to your chat, and his response was Frog Champ.
Based. Gabby seems
Gabby-
upset by this.
Gabby, frogs are dope.
Why does she not like frogs?
I don't know. Bacon and I at least have a legitimate reason to dislike penguins. At least most penguins.
Mm,
Texan weight are based.
what about me?
You're true neutral, so you're good.
Oh, but I'm not based.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
I guess you did denounce Pittsburgh, so I guess you get to be based too, Fig.
Did you know that people who say true neutral are disproportionately likely to develop brain cancer?
Well,
Well, guess you're dead.
yep, fuck, dude.
You're supposed to just say neutral.
I got to distinguish between
Between
Lawful
neutral,
neutral, and chaotic
and
neutral.
chaotic neutral, which you've already done by labeling the other two.
But if I don't say the other two, then how are you supposed to know?
Well,
It's
wait.
it's
So you're saying that because you can't tell them apart if you unlabel the other two, that's why you need a label for the third one?
it's not always clear.
Humans
And
like
it's better
categorization.
than saying neutral.
Just say neutral, because
Which
if
is
you
the
leave
other-
out the lawful and the chaotic, people know what you mean.
You're implying that people are smart.
I'm
I
implying.
know I'm not.
I'm implying that people who play tabletop RPGs are more likely to be smart.
I am
And
very.
I also want to make sure that people don't, mistake it for being neutral good or neutral evil.
What about neutral neutral?
Well, that's what true neutral is. You say true neutral, so you don't say neutral because that sounds silly.
I feel like we're just going in circles. But I believe I do now have an episode title.
What, neutral?
Yeah, neutral neutral. It's really funny, like, looking through the channel that I write that in, because it's me just saying a bunch of random phrases and then, like, percentages. And that's all it is all the way back to, like, January.
Yeah.
Actually, what's the oldest message in this channel? Yes, it's from the 25th of December, Low Speed Creeper Chase. And then Splax responds by saying, I'll chase your ass at low speed, and I said, Splax, I swear to God. Okay, Axie. Oh yeah, Splax has a single message in the stream title channel. Before I removed his ability to see it.
You like jazz? 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 You like jazz?
I can't wait to experience the burning of fire in Alpha.
You
Yep.
won't if it's on your house.
Oh, yeah, if my house ever gets struck with lightning in beta 1.5, that won't be very fun.
No, it won't. It will be very unfun.
Do chests burn?
No.
Okay, thank God.
No, it would be really stupid if chests burned, so fortunately they do not.
Look, I don't know, Notch has made questionable design decisions before.
I didn't say the question was stupid. I answered your question without being snarky or anything like that. Because I didn't think it was a stupid question. It's a legitimate question. They are made of wood.
I did interpret your answer as snarky just because you are a snarky person.
Right. Well, any snark was directed towards Notch and his questionable game decisions.
Mob spawning
Not
on
you.
bedrock in direct sunlight.
Yeah, that was stupid. But he recognized it and got rid of it.
You like jazz? 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 like jazz? You 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 like jazz?
Oh boy, dolphins.
I like the seahorses.
Yeah, they're I think they're just retextured salmon.
Nice.
I think they're retextured cod is what they are. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. I like it. I personally think it's a really good way to just like add in things like that without necessarily adding an entirely new mob.
Yeah, I like the frogs.
Oh yeah, the rabbits that are textured look like frogs.
Yeah, frogs.
Frogs.
What biomes do they spawn in?
I think it's just rivers and swamps, but rabbits don't spawn in swamps. So you don't really see them often.
Yeah,
Gabby's apparently not a fan of the frogs.
Gabby hates frogs.
I can't believe she's done this.
I know.
She will pay for her crimes.
What an asshole. Look at this Hoi 4 mod fig.
Look
I
at
guess I'll put
this
it
graph.
Look at this graph. I'll put it in streaming text voice so Mystic can see it if he wants to.
I don't know if Mystic's a big Hoi 4 guy.
You don't need to be.
I like how you and I are both like history nerds, but we have different like time period interests.
Cover more ground, but yeah, streaming text voice. Look at it, Fig. Look at it.
I'm swimming with dolphins. What do you want? God, why? Is that all it does is change the province to look like Among Us?
Yes. Yes, indeed.
I need a CK.
Oh, Fork Boy.
I need a CK2 mod that, or CK3 mod that just removes the, or changes the portraits to Among Us.
I really like your Among Us space and RimWorld.
Oh, yeah, the game that I haven't played in like 2 months now. Oh, god damn it, you two.
There is another.
You
We
planned-
can- Gabby,
you planned
Gabby
that.
and I can collaborate on one thing.
What? Misery?
We didn't actually conspire to do that. I just saw that she redeemed squats and I was like, okay,
You immediately
another.
did that, though. What is this?
there's another. I just saw her do it and I was like, oh, I guess it's time for me to do the thing that I always do.
Yeah, make Fig miserable. I'm only annoyed because I have to stop walking. Despite the fact that Arcade is normally just like, you guys are normally just at each other's throats all the times.
Like the British and the French with the Germans. I hate you. I hate you too. But that German guy is scary. Agreed. It's like a summary of world history.
Yeah, sounds about right.
There we go.
What?
Streaming text voice.
What is it? Reuniting a pose in 1618.
Yep. What can I say? That German guy is scary.
What can I say except you're welcome?
What can I say except delete this? One of my favorite memes. They Photoshop a pistol in his hand.
What can I say except you're welcome?
Take a look at streaming text voice.
Yeah, I've seen this before.
It's so good though.
I really enjoy this biome. Shattered savannas look very nice.
You think they're nice like that? You should see them before they shatter them.
Oh, really? I bet there is a sight to behold.
Indeed.
They say beauty is in the eye of the beholster.
I mean, that's where I've seen it. It's a beautiful gun.
Need to use the bathroom. I will return in a few minutes. VC tile, that's how you deal with the creeper.
Oh, we still shit talking Tile for being bad with mobs.
I bet I just ran through the creeper, let it blow up on the skeleton. I think it's always appropriate to shit talk Tile. At
I'm
least
just
with mobs.
saying. I'm just saying.
I
I
watched
can
you.
handle them. I can handle them with stone swords.
I watched
4
you do
hits.
just that.
Yeah, you got a good view from it. You were up on the roof. You got to watch me.
Yeah. I'll upload the footage eventually. I swear.
I'm playing Hoi 4, and somehow for some reason there was a conference between Churchill, Roosevelt, and Chiang Kai-shek, and they held it in Maryland, of all places.
Why Maryland?
I don't
It's-
fucking know.
It's fucking Maryland.
Probably because DC isn't a state, and it was probably held like DC is in Maryland in Hoi 4.
Okay.
And so that's probably why it was called the Maryland Conference, but it should have been called the Washington Conference or something.
Well, that's not where they were.
Alright, that's it. Mystic, we're ending you. Goodbye.
You ever just
Finally,
blockade
I hope
the
you're not
entire
kidding
axis?
this time.
You ever just what?
Blockade the entire axis?
You ever hit him with the old anaconda strategy?
Is that just blockading everything so they can't do anything?
Yeah, that's what we did in the South during the Civil War.
Yeah, it's a good strat.
I mean, it worked.
It worked.
Did the job.
My ancestors were in Ohio at the time, so I get to be like, lol, go team go,
Oh,
despite being a Virginian.
mine were in Virginia.
My I guess paternal line started in Virginia, went to Ohio, then up to Michigan, then back to Virginia. Like my grandfather went back to Virginia.
My paternal line has been in Virginia since the 1600s. My maternal line was originally they were up in Pennsylvania
I
for
only
a long
got
time.
I only got back to the first half of the 18th century. I couldn't find anything further
Well,
than that.
When we were discovering just family tree stuff, we found through my paternal line that I'm related to Robert E. Lee.
Dude, the old dude across the street who was like 100 who died a few years ago was named Robert E. Lee. I was like, damn. I have a friend who is named after Robert E. Lee,
Really?
which is funny because he's from Pennsylvania.
That's really ironic when you consider what went down in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I know.
My maternal line is German, and they were here in the mid 1700s in Pennsylvania.
Ah. Actual Pennsylvania Deutsch.
That's actual Pennsylvania Deutsch. I like how there's just icebergs next to a desert.
It's like the Glacier Oasis in Avatar, which Gabby should watch.
Yeah, I wonder when Gabby's gonna watch Avatar. What do you think, Mystic? Should Gabby watch Avatar?
Who?
Should Gabby watch Avatar?
I don't know who that is.
You don't have to know. That's not important.
Then no.
SMH.
Oops. probably make it at least to 70,000.
You ever just wipe out the entire Japanese fleet in October of 1941?
Big brain, battle midway early.
I just went to the South China Sea, like, early game.
Oh, shoot, that reminded me. So, like, I had to do this, like, thing, like, Navy related, where I had to, like, answer a bunch of, like, questions. And the majority of the sections were, like, just stuff I didn't know, because it was more, like, administrative minutia, and, like, who gives a shit. And, the only section that I was able to breeze through and basically knew everything off the top of my head was the history section.
Yeah.
And one of the questions was, what battle was fought using only, was fought, with carriers and only using, like, airplanes? I was like, okay, that one's obvious.
Yeah.
I think one was, like, we were involved in, what, 2 wars before the War of 1812? And the answer was the Barbary Wars and the Quasi War.
Yeah.
There are dolphins right next to this. Yeah, I'm gonna pick up the dolphins.
You're gonna get mining fatigued.
Apparently, I'm not.
Wow.
A
That's
surprise.
a homie Elder Guardian right there.
A surprise, to be sure, but well,
Little welcome one.
I must be frank, Your Majesty.
But yeah, I just garrisoned the Philippines and moved my entire navy out there so I could start, like, bombing Japan as soon as they attacked.
Foresight. Why did the United States just use foresight?
I know, dude. It's so funny, like,
SMHing my head.
yeah, it's really fun in doing that in Hoipor, where you're just like, oh. What if I united the Netherlands and built a giant wall on the German border and just sat there?
Did I ever tell you I did this? I did a game where I started as Brandenburg, formed Prussia, then unified Germany by force. And then after I could, because Germany in EU4 is like super like high concentrated development. So like if you control all of it, you're like pretty much unstoppable in Europe, at least land wise. And so like after I unified Germany, it was like, well, I guess the only reasonable thing to do here is attack France.
As you do. But yeah, I love forming the United Netherlands. You get a cool thing.
One of my favorite games was a game where I started as Mongolia and restored the Yuan dynasty of China. It's just a climb uphill. I always like the games where you like start out like in like maybe like not necessarily a super weak position, but you're not like, you know, a dominant player. And so like in order for you to like succeed, you gotta like claw your way up. A good example actually is probably starting as Florence, the Republic of Florence. And then you can go the route of just becoming directly Italy, or you can go Florence, Tuscany, Italy. But I've done a game where I started as Florence, formed Italy, and then after forming Italy, I ended up having a lot of income because of the way the trade system works. There's 3 end trade nodes, and 2 of them are in Italy. One's the Venice node, the other's the Genoa node. The last node is the English Channel. But basically, because I controlled both those nodes, I was just getting a bunch of trade income. And so I was able to just project power out across the Mediterranean and then I eventually acquired all the land required to restore the Roman Empire. And I
Nice.
started as a small nation with like 3 provinces to just dominate the Mediterranean. It's very satisfying to do that.
All I know is in Civ 4, I went into nuclear war with the Celts.
Civ 4 is fun in that respect.
It is amazing.
Oh, what's the one guy who had the what is it? The Endless War in Civ. Was it Civ 2 that happened in?
No, I think that was Civ 3.
It was either Civ 2 or Civ 3. That story is fascinating.
Which one?
Have you never heard of the Infinite War? It's either Civ 2 or Civ 3.
What happened?
Oh wait, Fig. Fig, did I ever tell you about the longest diplomacy game ever played?
No, but I would like to inform Arkad about the Endless War.
Alright, diplomacy can be next.
Actually, could you read it off to him, like the excerpt from it's from like an old Reddit thread. It's got to be at least like
So I have previously told you about diplomacy.
the game.
Yeah, like, but specifically the longest game of it that was ever played.
No, that's not what I was talking about.
But why do you assume that I have the Reddit thread you're talking about?
Oh, maybe I could just fucking Google it. Hang on.
I mean, I could find it.
It's just like it's probably almost a decade old now. That Reddit thread.
Yeah, it's got its own subreddit, the Eternal War.
Yeah, I remember because there were like people that he put the file up for download, and people like took the file and were able to like solve the Eternal War. It's honestly, it's a really incredible like story.
Yeah, it was Civ 2. I found the Reddit post. Let's put it in the streaming text voice. There you go.
I wish that Civ 5 like at least had that mechanic of like climactic effects from like human industrialization.
I don't know if Civ 4 has that kind of mechanic, because I've never played Civ 4 for long enough for that to actually, like, start impacting things.
I did find a mod that does exactly that for 5. I determined one thing though by just like playing around with it and seeing what it does. Give it enough time, 2 things will happen. One, the ice caps will completely melt. That's a given. The other thing is that there's like a progression from like the terrain types. So, is it just tundra? No, tundra's like the almost useless stuff. I'm thinking of just snow. Yeah, snow tiles. Snow tiles turn into tundra tiles. Tundra tiles turn into plains. No, not plains. They turn into grassland. Grassland turns to plains. Plains to desert. And so, given enough time, what will eventually happen is all land tiles on the planet will eventually be desert. That was a really weird death sound. And then the ice caps will melt. And then towards the equator, there will be like an ever-expanding ring of jungle. Just filled with resources. Because of the way, though, that it spreads like jungles around, though, it does some weird stuff with mountain tiles. Like, it'll place, like, a sugar resource on top of a mountain or something stupid. It's a really interesting mod, just because of, like, the very strange mechanics that it allows in the post-game. I see you have no comment on this, Mystic.
What?
I see you have
Hello?
I see you have no comment on this.
Comment on what now?
The thing I just told you about.
Sorry, I was just in the middle of killing one of the more annoying bosses.
Yeah, what do you think of that that Reddit thread, Arkad? God, this is a 9-year-old thread? God.
What Reddit thread?
The one Mystic linked.
Oh, I didn't look at it.
I've been playing the
Look
same
at it.
game of Civ 2 for 10 years. Though long outdated, I grew fascinated with this particular game by the time Civ 3 was released. I was already well into the distant future. I then thought that it might be interesting to see just how far into the future I could get and see what the ramifications would be. Naturally, I play other games and have a life, but I often return to this game when I'm not doing anything and carry on. The results are as follows. The world is a hellish nightmare of suffering and devastation. I need to eat food real quick. There are 3 remaining super nations in the year 3991 AD, each competing for the scant resources left on the planet after dozens of nuclear wars have rendered vast swaths of the world uninhabitable wastelands. The ice caps have melted over 20 times, somehow, due primarily to the many nuclear wars. As a result, every inch of land in the world that isn't a mountain is inundated swampland, useless to farming, most of which is irradiated anyway. As a result, big cities are a thing of the distant past. Roughly 90% of the world's population, at its peak 2,000 years ago, has died either from nuclear annihilation or famine caused by the global warming that has left absolutely zero arable land to farm. Engineers, late-game worker units, are always busy continuously building roads so that the new armies can reach the front lines. Roads that are destroyed by the very next turn when the enemy goes, so there isn't any time to clear swamps or clean up the nuclear fallout. Only 3 super-massive nations are left, the Celts, me, the Vikings, and the Americans. Between the 3 of us, we have conquered all the other nations that have ever existed and assimilated them into our respective empires.
I'm sorry, can I just say fuck the Celts?
Oh, jeez. What did they ever do to you?
They nuked me.
They nuked me.
And so I nuked them back tenfold.
Unleash nuclear Armageddon. You've heard of the 100-Year War? Try the 1700-Year War. The 3 remaining nations have been locked in an eternal death struggle for almost 2,000 years. Peace seems to be impossible. Every time a ceasefire is signed, the Vikings will surprise attack me or the Americans the very next turn, often with nuclear weapons. Even when the UN forces a peace treaty, so I can only assume that peace will come only when they're wiped out. It is this that perpetuates the war ad infinitum. Have any of you old Civ 2 players out there ever had this problem in the post-late game? Because of SDI, ICBMs are usually only used against armies outside of cities. Instead, cities are constantly attacked by spies who plant nuclear devices which then detonate. Hang on, I need to get this cliff here.
In my Civ game, I had SDI when I was nuked, and I used my nukes to nuke any other city that was attempting to research it.
What is SDI again?
The Strategic Defense Initiative that is basically the anti-nuke thing.
That's just not something in... so in 5 you have nuclear non-proliferation, which can be passed by the UN to just ban the creation of nuclear weapons. It doesn't destroy any current nuclear weapons.
Yeah, that didn't happen in my game, because I'm pretty sure I was the UN.
Yeah, eventually you can just diplomatically control everything. Okay, so hang on, let me go down here. Something I greatly miss from later Civ games. Usually the downside of this is that every nation in the world declares war on you. But this is already the case, so it's no longer a deterrent to anyone, myself included. The only governments left are 2 theocracies and myself, a communist state. I wanted to stay a democracy, but the Senate would always overrule me when I wanted to declare war before the Vikings did. This would delay my attack and render my turn and often my plans useless. And of course, the Vikings would then break the ceasefire, like... There we go. Break the ceasefire like clockwork the very next turn. Something I also miss in later Civ games is a little internal politics. Anyway, I was forced to do away with democracy roughly 1,000 years ago because it was endangering my empire. But of course, the people hate me now. And every few years since then, there are massive guerrilla uprisings in the heart of my empire that I have to deal with, and which saps resources from the war effort. The military stalemate is airtight. The post-late game in Civ 2 is perfectly balanced because all remaining nations already have all the technology, so there is no advantage. And there are so many units at once on the map that you could lose 20 tank units and not have your lines dented because you have a constant stream moving to the front. This also means that cities are not only tiny towns full of starving people, but that you can never improve the city. So you want a granary so you can eat? Sorry, I have to build another tank instead. Maybe next time. My goal for the next few years is to try and end the war, and thus use the engineers to clear the swamps and fallout, so that farming may resume. I want to rebuild the world, but I'm not sure how. If any of you old Civ 2 players have any advice, I'm listening. He does a good job of, like, giving you a visualization of, like, a hellish landscape.
Yeah.
I greatly enjoy things like that. I do like that America somehow became a theocracy. All right, what is this longest diplomacy game, Mystic? Educate me.
Oh boy, I'm glad you asked.
Oh boy.
Let's throw this in streaming text voice.
You just want to read it to me?
The 2012 is from 6 years ago, by the way. This is a 2015 post. The 2012 Web Diplomacy World Cup Final has reached its 100th year, the first diplomacy game ever to do so. If you are not familiar with diplomacy, it's a war game based around negotiation where 7 players each play one great power in the First World War, attempting to gain control of Europe by taking key provinces known as supply centers. You can usually talk in private with other players, and all players must submit their orders for a phase before any are revealed, meaning you don't know if your ally will backstab you in that phase or not until you've already set your orders. Other players can support your units into provinces, so negotiation is key to victory. Everyone who knows about diplomacy knows it takes a ridiculously long time to play. In face-to-face tournaments, strict deadlines are set of 15 minutes per phase, and games are played from 1901 until 1908, meaning about 4 hours for a game. In casual settings, where timers aren't observed so harshly, a game of the same number of phases can take 8 hours. Because of how difficult diplomacy can be to start in real life, there are a lot of active communities online. In online play, phases are usually set to process every 2 days, and you only need to dedicate an hour or so a day to it. Because of this, the set end date 1908 used in most face-to-face games isn't needed, and the game can be played with the win conditions stated in the rulebook. One great power controlling 18 of the 34 supply centers, which isn't used much in face-to-face games because it takes far too long to achieve. This in turn means that games can last months. There's also the possibility of an eternal game since there is no set end date. Usually this is due to stalemates. There can be positions where no player can push any further forward, and no player can back off because another player could win as a result. These games are declared drawn since no victory is possible. However, there's a small possibility of a game that would go on forever while going back and forth, one power gaining centers, then being pushed back by the others, and then another, and so on, without the game being stalemated. In practice, this sort of thing rarely happens. Going by statistics from Web Diplomacy last year, out of 4,300 games completed, only 17 had legitimately passed 1930, legitimately as in not just putting in garbage orders for the sake of making the game go on longer. And none of those had reached the year 1940. The 2012 Web Diplomacy World Cup final has one game still ongoing, long after all the others have been completed. This game has just reached the year 2000. It is absolutely insane. It's been going on for 3.5 years. It's gone on for so long because the game is public press only, meaning that any messages anyone sends are received by everyone, which slows the game down a fair amount because players have to position themselves to make completely uncounterable moves if they want to coordinate them with allies, or they have to risk their allies misunderstanding what they are doing and not supporting them correctly. Nobody wants to lose or draw, because since every other game in the tournament had finished, every team can still win, but only if they win the game outright. But there's one team whose tournament team would win the tournament, even if there's a draw in the game. So only that one team for, like, until the very, very end of this game is okay with a draw.
That's ridiculous.
And there's a later Reddit post from when the game actually finished.
What year did it finish?
Bu- 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 Finished. It started July 2nd, 2012 and ended February 13th, 2016.
That's ridiculous.
Ended in spring 2005. Europe was engulfed in war for 105 years before the four remaining great powers, Italy, Austria-Hungary, Germany, and Russia, signed a peace treaty.
Start a big fire in the jungle. No. Mystical, how close are you now to the Farlands? .4 away? Nice. So you're at like 11, right? 11.1? That's awesome, dude. Do you know if you'll be doing this on a weekend or a weekday? Ooh, wow, this looks really cool.
Russia got so close to winning. You need 18 supply centers to win, and Russia had 17 in 1964.
That's crazy. Endless games are something that I really enjoy. All right, well, I will try to be there whenever you reach the Farlands. It all depends on just whenever you do it.
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
Oh my god. There was a point where Germany controlled none of Germany,
That's hilarious.
but controlled all of England and France.
Who controlled Germany? Italy?
You like jazz?
Russia.
Russia? Really?
Yeah?
Nice.
You like jazz?
Here's a picture of it.
You like jazz?
Specifically the top half. I didn't realize this was all one image.
You like jazz?
That's very confusing looking.
Yeah.
You like jazz?
Honestly, they should have done the version of the map where it doesn't show all the moves. I find it funny how Russia's low point involves the occupation of Berlin and Munich.
Why is it their low point?
What?
Why is it their low point?
That's just the point where they had the lowest number of supply centers.
I see. That looks like it'd be a fun game to play.
It's a beautiful game if you like hating your friends.
Well, I hate Arcrid.
Thanks.
Relax, it was only serious.
It's one of those games where you can do nothing wrong and still get eliminated in like the first 3 turns. Because, you know, sometimes your neighbors are just going to decide to kill you.
And there's nothing you can do.
Yep.
You like jazz?
And in those situations, it's pretty easy to get angry.
You like jazz?
Like, imagine being England in the diplomacy game that lasts until 2005, and you got eliminated in 1905.
Is each like order like a year or what?
Each order, so each year is broken up into spring and autumn phases where you can move your units around.
Okay.
And after each of those phases, there's another phase where, if any unit has like if you have an army in Warsaw
You like jazz?
and somebody else took Warsaw, there will be a phase where your army gets to retreat to an adjacent space.
You like jazz?
And then after the autumn phase, there's also a build phase. So that's when,
Jazz?
if you gain supply centers, you can build new units in your home ones.
And then the monsters get released after 10 minutes?
Mm, yes. And if you lost supply centers, you have to pick some of your units to destroy.
Oh wow. I could see like how you could snowball effect there.
Yeah, so you get to have as many units as you have supply centers.
Okay.
Everyone starts with 3 supply centers except for Russia, who starts with 4.
You like jazz?
And although it might seem like that makes Russia easier to play as, that is very much not the case.
Because of their vast
You
frontier.
like jazz?
Yeah, Russia has to deal with a lot of things. Like, Russia ideally wants Turkey to not enter the Black Sea on the first move, and in the first year, Russia also would like to capture Sweden, which is at the start of the game a neutral place. So Russia has to negotiate with Germany, make sure they're not trying to take Sweden. Has to figure out what they're doing with Turkey. Because if Turkey enters the Black Sea, that threatens Sevastopol.
It's probably better to play a compacted nation.
Yeah, I think that Russia's generally... Either Russia or Italy is the most difficult to play. And I say Italy is one of the more difficult ones because Italy, the only supply center that Italy can reliably capture in the first year is Tunis. and every other country has at least 2 supply centers they can reasonably expect to get. Like Russia, they usually expect to get Sweden and Romania. Turkey can always gets Bulgaria and is usually pretty confident about Greece. Honestly, I don't want to fucking talk about the Balkans. That shit goes to hell so fast.
Just like real life.
Well, that yeah, I was about to say like the phrase balkanization is a thing for a reason.
Like, if you want a nice, stable start to the game, you want to be Germany or France, because France is just like, okay, guys, hold on, I'm gonna go grab Spain and Portugal real quick. Don't worry, it's not gonna bother you. And Germany just waltzes into Denmark and Holland.
Just like real life.
If you're England, then you end up taking Norway, unless Russia's an asshole to you. And hopefully you'd want to get yourself into Belgium.
As like a continental foothold?
Yeah. Because, if France wants to work with England, they'll usually try to offer them Belgium as, like, a show of goodwill. If England doesn't have any friends, then England is not getting Belgium. Because if any 2 people decide they want Belgium, then neither of them gets it in the first year. I almost miss playing this. I played online diplomacy all the time with some high school friends back in the day. Of course, I always won. Where's that map I had of that one time I won as Italy? Because, Fig, I think you'll be really impressed by it. Here it is. Copy. Paste. This was on a different website. Wait, that's not the right map. That's when I was on the way to Italy, but not quite when I won. This is the right map.
Jesus, that's impressive.
Yeah, I captured London.
Oh yeah, you did. What the hell?
Because England and France really screwed up when they were trying to keep me out of the Mid-Atlantic. And in case it's not clear, that light blue is Turkey, and yes, Turkey's only supply center at the end is St. Petersburg.
What the hell?
I like how pretty much the entire Middle East is just labeled as Syria.
That's really generalized. It's just Syria. I mean, the portions of the Middle East on
To
the
be
map.
fair, Moscow isn't really that big.
What? I feel lied to and cheated.
So in diplomacy, each unit can occupy 1 space, and or more precisely, each space can be occupied only by 1 unit.
Okay.
So there's almost nothing that you can do on your own, except for capturing nearby neutral supply centers in the first year. And inevitably, one of the first things you need to do is decide who you're going to kill first. And more importantly, who's going to help you do it. So most of the time, between England, France, and Germany, usually you end up with two of them siding against the third. And you usually have a similar thing with Russia, Turkey, and Austria, with the caveat that Turkey and Austria will almost never get along.
Nice.
Because it's pretty clearly difficult for Turkey to expand while Austria also expands. But I digress. I've got a dragon to kill.
What?
I said I digress. I have a dragon to kill.
What are you playing?
What's your opinion on Alexander von Falkenhausen, Fig?
Who?
Alexander von Falkenhausen.
Who?
Alexander von Falkenhausen.
I don't know who that is.
He was a I guess a German general who served as a military advisor to Chiang Kai-shek in the 30s.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. He was basically like, look, my guy, you should fight a war of attrition, hold the river line. And Chiang Kai-shek didn't listen to him and got kind of bodied for it.
Yeah, I think he kind of paid the price for that one, you know?
Mm-hmm. Anyway, he was basically like, yeah, there's no way Japan could win a long-term war. Fight a war of attrition. Hold the Yellow River line. And don't attack until you've built up your strength. He's actually like a pretty interesting dude. When he was recalled in 38 because Germany came to like the awkward realization, hold on, we're friends with Japan, why are we aiding the people that Japan is fighting? When he was recalled, he was basically like, don't worry, my dude, I'm not gonna tell the Japanese anything. And he didn't.
That's awesome.
So yeah, he was made the military governor of Belgium. And basically, like, he did what he could, basically, like, dragged his feet and stuff, and eventually he was, you know, when he wasn't outright opposing the Nazis, and eventually he was implicated in a plot. He offered support for a coup, and so he was sent to a concentration camp at some point. So decent guy.
I would say he had a pretty good code of ethics then,
Yeah.
as much as he can in that situation.
Basically, yeah. During his he was because he was the military governor of Belgium. He was obviously implicated in things and sent to trial, and basically a bunch of people like were like, hey, including Leon Blum and a bunch of Belgian Jews were like, hey, he did what he could, but they convicted him anyway, but he was pardoned after like a few years. It was a shame.
Like, convicted in the Nuremberg trials?
I don't know if it was the Nuremberg trials. But yeah, he intervened a couple of times to prevent the execution of Belgians for resistance against the German occupation, stuff like that.
Huh. Seemed to have a good head on his shoulders.
Yeah. I mean, again, he was implicated in a plot to kill him. So.
I mean, he probably also had like the foresight to see that he was bringing their country to ruin.
Yeah, he didn't actually want to leave China as as far as I can tell, but his family was back in Germany, and that's sort of like a, hey, come back, we have your family. It's like, well, what's he gonna do? Anyway, in Hoi 4, it's great, right? When you play as China, you can give him citizenship, so he doesn't leave. And I always go out of my way to give him citizenship. It's like, don't worry, Alexander. Bring the wife and kids over. He'll be safe here with me.
We're gonna fight the Japs.
Fortress China.
I like that you somehow like managed to lead that back into Hoi 4.
Well, that's where I learned about him, was from Hoi 4. I learned about a lot of cool people from Hoi 4. Alexander von Falkenhausen is one of them. Sun Li Zhen's another one. He was a Chinese general who went to Purdue, got a degree in engineering, decided, fuck it, I don't want to be an engineer, and so then lied about his age to get into VMI,
What's VMI?
Virginia Military Institute.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. He was a baller, literally, and that he led the Chinese national basketball team to a gold medal at the Far East Games in the early 1920s. Was basically super epic. I gave a speech about him for my college public speaking class. And also, he's got fucking great stats. It's awesome. He was one of the most successful Chinese military commanders in both the Second Sino-Japanese War and the Chinese Civil War. And the war started turning south for the nationalists in the Civil War after he was relieved of command. Coincidence? I think not.
I just like how with the Chinese Civil War, there's just a lot of bad decisions on the national part.
Oh my god, they threw so hard.
Like, they had all the cards, and
They threw
lost.
so hard. They didn't. So Sun Li Zhen wasn't super trusted because he had a foreign military education. But like, and it wasn't. The nationalists weren't very meritocratic. It was party men, you know, because
Yeah.
it was an authoritarian regime.
Yeah, it was an authoritarian.
And it's like, come on, Chang. Sun Li Zhen was a baller. He was placed under house arrest under trumped up charges because Chang viewed him as a political rival. Because everyone in America, like all the American generals, liked him. Because he was competent, and also he went to VMI.
People often don't remember that, like, regimes like nationalist China or even South Korea were not, like, at all democratic for a long time.
Well, no, they think about them now as like what they've turned into.
Yeah. Versus,
But that didn't happen until after Chang died in like the 80s or something like that. Yeah, and like right after he died, they did like an investigation under Sun Li Zhen's house arrest, and were like, oh, these charges were trumped up, and everyone, like the people who charged him, knew they were trumped up when they did it. Poor guy. Also, there's a picture of him with an elephant. It's epic. They had a war elephant.
you know, the previous government of China being, like, exiled to Taiwan is interesting because it's happened before in Chinese history. During the Ming to Qing transition, a general of the Ming Dynasty just straight up took over Taiwan.
Yeah, I want to go to Taiwan. I want to visit his house. It's like, he's such a baller, dude.
That baller. I barely knew her.
Everyone knows that Donald Trump is the rightful government of China.
China.
Yeah, the elephant lived actually a long time, the war elephant. So here he is with said war elephant. The war elephant got evacuated to Taiwan with the rest of the army. And the elephant lived until 2003,
I'm sure Hannibal
Wow.
would be proud of
where
war
it died
elephants.
at the age of 85.
Jesus. I'm sure Hannibal would be proud of war elephants still being used.
I didn't know they had elephants in China.
There's elephants in Southeast Asia.
Yeah, but that's like not China.
It's relatively close geographically.
I suppose.
It's a shame we lost the Syrian elephants. They're extinct.
Damn. But yeah, the elephant's a cultural icon in Taiwan now.
That's amazing.
He was the most popular animal at the zoo in Taipei, because it's a fucking war elephant. Like that's baller. Like war animals are dope. Like think about Wojtek.
Yeah. The war.
Everybody
bear.
loves Wojtek. Slacks, do you know about Wojtek?
Don't.
Okay, so Wojtek was I think it was a Syrian brown bear that the Poles picked up in like Iran or something like that, and they formally drafted him into the Polish army so they could bring him with them to like Italy, because the British ships were like no mascots, and they're like, all right, well he's an actual soldier, and they had him as a cub, and they trained him to carry boxes of artillery that would normally take like a few people to
Oh.
carry. And like he had like the ration book, and so like he would eat cigarettes and drink beer. Like he would hold the the
Damn.
beer bottles
Living a life
and,
of luxury.
and just chug them, and then would look in one hole, you know, the hole with one eye, and look in the other, just to make sure it was gone. And it was said he never dropped a crate, and he would play wrestle with like the troops. Like he was literally one of the boys.
Man, it's very impressive that they like never had like any kind of like horrific accident with the bear.
Yeah, well they were like they were an artillery division, so they weren't, or like an artillery company, so they weren't like on the front lines.
No, I mean like something with the bear attacking them, because it is a bear.
No, the bear was chill.
I'd be more worried if the bear was
taught
intelligent
him-
enough to use the artillery.
They taught him to salute as well.
That's awesome.
And it was great. After the war, right? He was sent to the Edinburgh Zoo because communism in Poland, and old soldiers that served with him would go, and he would salute them, and then they would throw cigarettes and beers over the fence of his enclosure for him.
That's
Which
awesome.
made the zookeepers very, very upset.
That's honestly that's a beautiful story. You would
Stop
not,
feeding our bears cigarettes.
you wouldn't see that at all today.
It's great. In Hoi 4, actually, there's an Easter egg. You can get him as a general, and he has a trait that's called the Bearer of Artillery, and it's extra artillery attack. It's great. It's really convoluted and difficult to get, but you give Wojtek.
Wojtek.
I mean, yeah, they've got statues of him like carrying artillery shells. Like here's a statue of him in Poland. They got one of him in Scotland as well. But there he is,
That's awesome.
holding the artillery.
All right.
Oh yeah, and here he is wrestling one of his I guess comrades in arms.
All right. That's enough walking for today. And as always, thanks for walking.